it's about to go bad. They about to get on your nerves. And best believe me, when you know a mother lover's about to get on your nerves, they dance on that mother. Indian philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "There is no end to education. It is not that you read a book, pass an examination, and finish with education. The whole of life, from the moment you are born to the moment you die, is a process of learning." You're probably like, "Dom, why you dressed like a schoolgirl?" Because I'm a student of life. As we toast to the finale of this season of To the Last Drop, we're pouring out the top sober sips of wisdom that have jazzed up my sobriety soiree. Every day in sobriety is a journey. When I say I've got 544 days of sobriety, right? We understand that that's like a year and however many months. But from the perspective of how I'm living, each one of those days, that is 544 times I had to make a decision. That was 544 times I said no. 544 times I went to sleep and woke up with full recollection of day 543. That's 544 times I did something else other than what I was comfortable with, which was consuming. It gives me a little bit of different perspective on when parents say, "Oh, my baby is 17 and a half months old." Because each one of them months meant something to that parent. We get it. It's a year and almost a half. We get it. But each one of those months meant something to that parent. It meant a doctor's appointment. It meant trying a new food group. It meant the last time they got to go out and have fun. Each month, it means something. And you want to take the time to celebrate that, to acknowledge how far you've come and what you've overcome, your ability to make positive decisions in the directions of the life that you want to live, right? Every single one of those needs to be celebrated because it's one day, one moment that you didn't end up on your bathroom floor trying to talk to God, right? I got 544 days of sobriety. For about 250 of them, anytime I was on the floor talking to God, it's because I put myself in a position of submission to speak to him with respect and not with my head in the toilet, right? And every time I spoke to him with my head in the toilet, my skin got worse and worse. Every time I talk to him on the side of my bed, my skin gets better and better, okay? And he blesses me with more direction. Every day that I do that, I'm less lost than I was the day before. Because remember, just because you're not drinking doesn't mean life is great. Life is still lifing, okay? Today is still today, and all of that is true. But I don't find comfort in going to the bar to soothe it. That's the only difference. I still have to deal with life doing what life does, the enemy doing what the enemy does. The more I talk to God, the more the enemy got things he want to do, right? Right. One day at a time, give yourself that grace and just be happy for the day. All you got is today. I should be happy that I made it to 544 days. If it was in the cards for me, I would have been out. Who's to say I wouldn't have been out on day 3? Who's to say I ever would have made it to day 1, right? Sometimes your last attempt at indulging is your last attempt at indulging. It's like that. Some people don't even make it to get the help. Their last time is their last time. And how did they choose to spend it? Indulging. I don't want to go out like that. I don't want my last time to be me choosing to indulge in something I have no business doing, no matter what it is. I want my last time to be, man, she just finished something awesome. That was great. And that's God willing, but I'm also hoping my last time isn't for a while. And not drinking kind of helps me get there faster, right? Or safer, right? And I want your addiction or whatever your coping mechanism that you use, whatever is holding you back, I want this to be your last time. And I've got some tips here that may help. I've learned these in 544 days, and you get them in 5 minutes and 44 seconds, right? Let's start with the first one that helped me out tremendously. Become friends with yourself. You're really all you got, y'all. You are really all you got. And the way that you speak to yourself, sometimes even subconsciously, is unacceptable. This applies to sobriety because when a baby comes into the world and is learning how to walk, you don't tell the baby after 12 months, oh, you're so stupid. Oh, why aren't you getting this yet? Why aren't you doing this? You don't talk to children that way. But after 12 months of sobriety, sometimes even 12 minutes, you're talking to yourself crazy. What kind of life is that? What kind of friendship is that you are exhibiting within yourself to yourself? And honestly, if you're speaking to yourself that way, how do you speak to your real friends? It's all connected. Everything is connected, especially those conversations that only you can hear. Mine typically happen in the bathroom, in the shower, right? Those conversations. If they're not propelling you forward or supporting you, do you need them? You don't. Become friends with yourself. Find out what you really like. Find out why you keep talking to yourself that way. You have to dig. Get your shovel out. You have to dig, right? You dug yourself a hole to get to rock bottom, right? You dug that hole. Yeah, now you got to dig a hole somewhere else and try to get to why you keep doing this to yourself. And you also have to give yourself grace and mercy. And above all, forgive yourself. What you did or what has happened does not make you unworthy of a better future. Your past is your past. Forgive yourself. And you can always ask for forgiveness and understand that as soon as you ask, you receive that forgiveness. Your next step is to turn away from whatever that thing is. Just don't go back and do it again. But you are forgiven. So the concept of do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right, is based in how you would treat yourself. What are you doing unto you that you subsequently then do unto others? And if you wouldn't speak to a child that way, why are you speaking to yourself like that? You're a child of God. The word says something along the lines of anyone who offends a child is better off, I think it's like drowning themselves in a lake. It's that serious. You are a child of God. Why are you offending yourself? You ever looked up the definition of offense? Why are you doing that to yourself? And the second part is, why are you allowing other people to do that to you too? Why do you feel like you deserve that? Think about who treats you well. How can you emulate that behavior in yourself? How do those people make you feel? The ones that treat you well. How do they make you feel? What do y'all do together that makes you feel that way? And then use that and do it to yourself. Love starts with yourself, right? Doesn't RuPaul say it all the time? If you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love anyone else, right? So that's my first tip. And I'd like to go into my second one. You ready? My second tip is learning is fun. Learning is fun. When I got out of rehab, what I realized is my brain, and I did have trauma that relates to this, but my brain had shut off. I didn't want to take in anything new. I was not receptive to new information. I wanted to stick to what I knew and continue to live that way. And what it was showing up in my life, in my addiction. I was living the way that I thought was acceptable. I didn't want to do anything new. I didn't want to try other things. I wanted to say how it was because it was comfortable there. After coming out of rehab, I realized that I had to do everything new. I am a new creation, right? I had to do everything new, everything different. Every emotion that I felt had to have a different reaction. Even if it was the happy ones, my happy emotions, I now have to try to be present in that happiness. I don't just feel happiness, I try to sit in it and maintain it. Same thing with, we've talked about it, sadness and anger. I have to go about those differently. I can't navigate in them the same way. Learning is fun. There are so many conversations you can have with new people, and they'll teach you something. If you listen, they're dropping jewels, typically, hopefully, about things they know about. And if you listen with an open mind and a willingness to learn, you might like that thing too. You might not. Sometimes it happens like that. And that's okay. You don't have to like everything that you're introduced to. Please don't like everything that you're introduced to. But some things could really help to propel you forward. The goal here is to go forward. And be open, because the word says that we are transformed by the renewing of our mind. Your mind, what you're thinking, what you are receptive to, what you are taking in. When you change your thoughts, you change your actions. You also change your energy. The reactions from the world around you do begin to change. People can see it, people can feel it. And don't do it for other people's recognition, but understand that while you're doing it, we can see you. Everyone can see you. No one can deny that you are a new thing if your mind is renewed and you're deciding to do different things. It all goes together. I try to wake up and pray in the morning. Typically I brush my teeth first, because if I wouldn't talk to my man with my mouth all crazy, I'm not gonna talk to my God like that. So I try to brush my teeth, and then I get on the floor. I try not to pick up my phone and do other things. I don't want anything taking control of my mind until I give my thoughts to God, who's actually gonna do something with them, right? You scrolling on that phone, you're not doing nothing but taking in nonsense. And you know it's nonsense. When I wake up in the morning, my timeline has more nonsense on it than later on that night. It'll just be crazy. I'll wake up and I'll see things that incite fear, so bombings and such, things that just agitate me, fights, and listening to, women need to do this and men need to do that. Infuriating, right? Things that make me sad is right there on my phone as soon as I get up. So what do I do to transform my mind? I get on the floor first. And I've posted it more than once. I don't want to talk to you until I talk to God. Please don't talk to me until I talk to him. Because until I do, I'm going to be off kilter. The other day, we took a day off. Sunday, we took a day off. And I knew what I was going to do with my day, but for whatever reason, I didn't feel peace about it. I knew that I wanted to rest in the bed for a while. I knew what restaurant I wanted to go out to and what I wanted to wear. But because I didn't pray about it first, I couldn't get the rest that I wanted to. I was like restless on my phone, trying to watch the TV, half watching the TV. It just wasn't working. And I said, I'm gonna pray. I haven't prayed yet. I'm gonna pray. Because remember, I was laying in the bed the whole day, so I never got out to get on the floor. I got out, I prayed, and I just let God know, hey, I just wanna have a great day, but whatever you wanna do, that's what we're doing. After that, I got up, I felt so much better. He said, lay on the couch. I laid on the couch, I took a nap. When I got up, I was rejuvenated and ready to go to the restaurant, ready to have a night out. I had to renew my mind. I had to change whatever was on my mind when I woke up was not serving me. So I had to go get served. Another part of renewing your mind is letting go of limiting beliefs and taking on limitless beliefs, right? You are limitless. Nothing is impossible for who you with, right? And who we with. Hopefully you with the big God up there, big G's all day, no little G's. Big G's all day. So why are you limiting yourself with your thoughts? It's probably because you're not doing anything to renew your mind. If you're watching ratchet TV all day and listening to non-constructive things all throughout the day, y'all know what I'm talking about. The rap music is not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. It's just not. You're not listening to anything that's pouring into your spirit. You're not getting any oil that day, nothing. You just walk around dry. And you expect to live a limitless life when every time you turn on the radio is, oh, they never believed in me, I'm trapped in the hood, I'm a killer nigga. and you want to be limitless, you're going to do a limitless amount of time behind bars. You keep listening to this stuff. The goal is to listen to things that feed your spirit. Become limitless in your mind. My sister, shout out to Amor. Amor comes to me and she often says, Dom, remember, everything always works out for me. And I say it so much. And only a small mind would think that that was arrogance. It's not. Everything really does always work out for me. And everything always can work out for you too. If you believe it, it starts in your mind. What are you saying? If you always say, man, this is about to go bad. This is about to be a bad experience. They about to get on my nerves. What are you going to get? It's about to go bad. They about to get on your nerves. And best believe me, when you know a mother lover's about to get on your nerves, they dance on that mother. They really get on your nerves. Stop anticipating bad and anticipate great things because you deserve them and he can do them. So what's your issue? So I want you to take a second and imagine yourself as a sponge. We turn the sponge out SquarePants around here, okay? Imagine yourself as a sponge and then see 3 buckets. The first bucket is filled with clean water. It's probably Essentia. Clean water. The second bucket is filled with dirty, murky, nasty water. Let's imagine like sewer water, just disgusting. Like you wouldn't want to touch that. The third bucket has nothing in it. You are the sponge. Wherever you put yourself, whatever you are filling yourself with is what you become. I cannot put myself in a bucket of sewer water and expect to come out clean. That's not how that works. But I know that if I put myself in a bucket of Essentia, that I'm gonna come out clean. I also know that if I put myself in a bucket of nothing, I will get nothing. And oftentimes, because of the way of the world, when you put yourself in a bucket of nothing, you end up with bad things getting stuck to you because the media is feeding you nonsense. Your timeline is feeding you nonsense. And also remember, you're choosing that. What you choose to follow is what's going to keep popping up in your algorithm. You can change your algorithm. My mother made a great point. I thought she was crazy at first. She has multiple social media pages. And she said to me, but Dom, each one is for a different part of me. I said, well, I don't want to remember 3 passwords. Like, that's crazy. But then when I began to try to fix my algorithm, because my algorithm was twerking, drink recipes, party ideas, all of those things. When I tried to change my algorithm, I realized that there's multiple parts of me. I'm not saying that you can't have a page with turn-ups. What I'm saying is if you're feeding, there's a time and a place for the turn-up. If you are giving yourself turn up early in the morning before brushing your teeth every single day, you're gonna get turn up. And turn ups come with destruction sometimes. They come with addiction sometimes. They come with trouble and pregnancy sometimes. Call a spade a spade. You're choosing which bucket you want to get into every day. And again, you can choose the empty bucket because you think that's a safe place. But remember, the world is going to give you whatever it wants to. And sometimes it's not good. And from this analogy, you can see that if you're not growing, you're dying. Every day you choose to cultivate life within you or to kill yourself little by little, right? It reminds me of when older people retire. If they don't keep their brains going, they begin to decline. That's not what you want. You have to keep your brain going. I used to think that my grandmother was like boring for doing crosswords and Sudoku and Scrabble and all those things. Like, oh, wow, who cares about words? That's boring. But guess what? My grandmother to this day, and she's not even here no more, to this day, I do not compare to her in Jeopardy at all. I watched Jeopardy and don't know any of the answers. She knew all the answers, y'all. No joke, she knew all the answers. She kept her brain going. That's why sometimes that's why you want to do a job that you love, so that when you're working and expanding your brain, it's for your best interest. But if you're cool working for other people, please have at it. But you want to keep working because you're still having interaction every day. You're challenging yourself every day. You're moving your body every day. You're choosing life. Sometimes we think, oh, well, I can't wait to retire so I could just lay on the beach. Yeah, that's cool for a week or two. But if you're laying on the beach every day for 40 days and never doing anything constructive, you're just drinking in the morning, you're laying on the beach, then you go party at night, then you do it again the next day. You do that for 40 days, there's going to be a decline. And the goal is to keep growing. You're so much bigger than this. You're so much bigger than this. A shark in a tank, I don't know, I think it's a great white shark, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a certain shark that when you put it in a tank, it dies because it wants to grow. It's not even like a goldfish to where it grows to the size of the tank. The shark just dies because it's not supposed to be in there. It knows it's not supposed to be in this tank. When I watched the Blackfish documentary, I still haven't been to an aquarium yet, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it stood out to me that how sad is it to be a fish in a tank? In reality, they have the whole ocean. Most of the earth is water. They could go anywhere, do anything. And they're stuck in a little 10 by 10. They're stuck on your little dresser in a bowl. That's a miserable life. And some of us are making ourselves into fish in an aquarium by taking in the same things over and over. You are so much more than this. We're not even from here. We're just passing through. And you're stuck in your little tank, just waiting for somebody to give you food and change your filter. You're not even trying. You're so much more than this little tank that you keep putting yourself into. Every time you go to the bar when you don't want to, every time you consume a beverage when you know you don't have no business drinking, you are remaining content in a tank. And it's probably not even one of the good tanks with the fancy filters. It's just a standard little bowl with water in it. You don't even have a good filter because you're not filtering out the nonsense by changing your algorithm. You're letting it run as it is. Now you got a dirty tank, and you're still small. Meanwhile, you were meant to be so much more. So I know that was heavy, guys, and I hope that those analogies helped, right? But that was my second tip. Let's move on to the third, and hopefully I'll give you some more visuals. The third and final tip is that family is important. Family is very important. It's cliche, I get it. You've heard this 1,000 times. And a lot of times in sobriety, the things that you've heard 1,000 times in your life apply differently. They really start to make sense. Family is very important. We are all on God's clock, right? Time is running down. And I know that I exhibited this behavior in season 1, I'm sure. That thought of, well, oh, it doesn't matter, like I'll just be over here by myself. Sometimes it is safer to be that way, but remember that when people pass, you don't know how you're going to respond. You could think right now that they're still breathing, that, oh, I'll be fine, I don't need them around. Whatever, they don't help me anyway, they don't do anything for me anyway. And then they pass and you feel a wave of emotions. You remember things that happened when you were a kid that they did with you or for you, and it hurts different. Don't waste time. Don't waste time being mad. Don't waste time in spaces where you could have cultivated relationships and written a new story. Don't waste time. Because you never know when the last day is the last day. And you don't want to get to the funeral and have all these memories, but still have nothing to say about them. You want to be able to have memories that will move you forward, that will comfort you when you miss them and such, that will bring you joy. And sometimes you just have to be the bigger person and create them. Make it a point to create them. As you've probably heard throughout these episodes, I've lost a lot of grandparents. And it just makes me value the grandmother that I have still alive, makes me value her more. I want to spend the time. We go to church together. That's what we're doing. We're just going to church, and it's everything. It gives us something to talk about. It gives me a moment of her time. We can go to dinner afterwards. I try to really use her time, take her time up. It gives me a better understanding of who she is. And it also shows me what parts of her reside in me. And I don't mean that on the physical. I mean that internally. There's parts of her that that resonate with me because it's here. It's all in the DNA. But if I take time and say, oh, well, you were never around when I was a kid, or, oh, you never came to my prom, you never came to my graduation. What am I doing? I'm doing myself a disservice because now I can't learn about what's inside of her that even if I don't see it in myself, I may see it in my children. How am I supposed to know how to respond to these things if I've never seen it before? You have to try to learn and discover it. So spend the time with the family, even if it's uncomfortable. And it doesn't have to be for immense amounts of time. Do little outings. Hey, you want to go get coffee today? Hey, you want to go to church? Guess what? Church is an hour. Church is, well, hopefully, because some of these churches run over, but church is about an hour and a half. After that, if I want to go home and live my best life, I can do that. But if I want to spend more time, if I'm curious, if I have something I want to speak about, then, like I said, I elongate the time. Hey, you want to go? Let's go get something to eat real quick. Or you want to sit down and have dinner? It makes all the difference. And you have to try. And a bit of advice. Treat your relationships like a garden. Do what you can to cultivate and fertilize them, to water them, to build them, and so that you can watch them grow and bloom. Because if you don't, the weeds start to come up. And now they've not only taken away from all the things that have bloomed, but it just gets really ugly. And now you have more work cut out for yourself, right? I used to work at a park. I worked at a park freshman through like second year of college. And it was every summer. And I was park pool staff. Every summer, I had to go to the park and pull up all the weeds. This happened every single summer. What you don't know about weeds is that they come back really quick. Even when you pull them from the root, they come back so fast. And they're kind of prickly, actually. I used to really harm my fingers trying to pull them out. If I let it go for 2 weeks, literally, my boss would come back and see the weeds and be like, Dom, did you pull weeds at all? It's like, yeah, I did it 2 weeks ago. No, you got to stay on top of that. Think about it. We're always growing in one direction or another. We're always growing. And so are the weeds. That's why God said we got to work the 6 and only take 1 day off because a weed is always coming right up behind. So once you've taken the time to cultivate that relationship and grow that garden and you see how it's bloomed and how you now have tomatoes and cucumbers and all sorts of things, you can't help but feel triumphant that you took the steps to fight and to overcome the little distractions that do come up. That connects into our next song. It's Triumphant by Mariah Carey. Now, this song has Meek Mill and Rick Ross on it. I'm not too fond of either of them in my day-to-day life, but because it's Mariah, we gonna get it done. Can't Fall Down. And mind you, I wish I could sing it to y'all like Mariah, but go stream the song. Can't fall down. Stay triumphant. Keep on living. Stay on your toes. Get off the ropes. Don't let them ever count you out. Realize all things are possible. In your heart, who's the greatest? Reach for the stars. Be all that you are and make them all fall down. This final dedication is very important to me. I was supposed to do it on last week's episode, and for whatever reason, we got carried away and it escaped me. until I went to go get a massage last night. And I'm laying on the table and it comes to my brain that I didn't eulogize my grandmother. And I heard, hey, you're running from the hurt again. Don't do that. How are you going to help people if you're not talking about the things that hurt you? Sitting here looking like a superhero, but you know pain too, right? Mind you, I'm getting a massage. I'm like, great. And I'm on the table crying. This lady's massaging my feet and I'm crying. There's tears coming down. So I made it a point to get up and do this today, and it's going to get done. Okay. All right. This episode is dedicated to my grandma Nana, right? Now, we should have called her Nonna perché noi siamo italiano, but it is what it is, right? Nana, Rita Spinelli. Nana was a friend to everybody. She was always supportive. Nana was always a shoulder to cry on. She was always there to listen. And man, could she talk. If you didn't have no one to talk to, you call Nana. I'd be on the phone for hours. She would always pick up the phone, and I love that about her because she would always pick up the phone. Nothing was too big or too small for Nana. We was gonna figure it out. It was gonna get done. We had a different relationship, but I know she loved me and she valued me. She stressed the importance of family. She always let me know, like, you're a Spinelli. Like, don't let anything make you think that you're not Italian, okay? And you speak it better than anybody I know, and I do. She stressed the importance of knowing your history, knowing where you came from, and what to do with that. She could tell you a story in a heartbeat, and nobody was better at Jeopardy than Nana. Nobody. Nobody. I can't even watch it these days. I can't watch Family Feud either because we used to watch that a lot together. Nana was the powerhouse of 2nd Street. Not just the family, of 2nd Street. She was the powerhouse. Everyone would just walk in and she would always have time with everyone. She knew everybody. Her phone was always ringing and she was always there. And maybe I took that for granted initially, but now that she's not here, I would love to have another sleepover. I would love to go and just be like, and sit in her cigarette smoke and sleep on the floor. Like, I would love that. And this is an example of how if you don't spend the time, you don't have those memories, right? She loved the beach. She loved the beach, and she always had a song. She always had a song to sing. To this day, certain songs cannot come on my phone. I won't listen to them. I can't do it. Every time I see You Are My Sunshine, that wasn't even my song. That wasn't even the song she dedicated to me. But every time I see it, my heart breaks. It still hurts all these years later, but it's okay. And I just want to give her kudos for raising mixed kids in a time where it wasn't acceptable. She gave up her whole family unit to be a mom to mixed kids. And even when the world didn't understand, she was fantastic. She was a fantastic mom. She worked really hard for her kids and her grandkids. I had every color doll. That's the thing. People say they didn't see color. I didn't see color. I didn't know that she was white until I got into 5th grade. So what color do I think I am, right? And why does it matter? I had every color Barbie doll. And she would get me every color. It didn't matter. And we would play with all of them. Because color doesn't matter. Love is really love. And I'm talking the old school definition. You can use the new one if you want to. That's your business. The old school definition, love is love. The color of my skin does not dictate the content of my character. And she was very adamant about that. It's about being a good person and loving God, period. She used to sit and turn on, I remember she turned on Revelations one day, y'all. She had a records player and she put in this Bible record of Revelations and we sat and listened to it. She said, oh, y'all want to hear a scary story? And she put on Revelation. Nana was wild, but it helped. And now that I'm actively seeking, I understand things I didn't get before. I memorized all the 10 commandments because they were on her wall before I even knew the value and what exactly that was. So I just want to thank her for laying a foundation to where and I had to anyway, where I can take it upon myself to seek God and understand that He's been helping the family. He's been with us. Lastly, I want to thank her for pronouncing my name correctly, even when I'm not in trouble. My name is Domine Spinelli. The only person that pronounced it like that was my Nana, and it hits different when I think of her saying it. So I thank you for that. I love you, and I will see you again. She wanted her ashes to be spread in Italy. And I don't think she was cremated, so how she wanted that, I'll never know. But Nana, moving forward, I got one of your Buddhas and I'm gonna leave it in Italy when I go in March. I'm gonna make sure that I leave it. And hopefully you could be there and sit with me and we'll have some coffee and say, wow, I love you and I thank you. I know the tears probably make you assume that this hasn't been fun, but it's been a great time. And I can live life a little bit lighter now. And hopefully I've assisted you in being able to do the same thing. These tears are for me, but I hope that they show you that it's okay and that this is what we have to do. The more I can do this, the better I will be to myself, to you, and to everyone around me. And the more help I can be when I hear similar stories. So don't let the tears, let them change you. Don't let them stop you from listening. Now, the snotty knows I would stop listening off that. What are your sober tips of wisdom? Share your top lessons learned in sobriety with the hashtag SoberSips. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and pushing through past the snot. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star review and then go to YouTube and watch so you can at least see the hot outfit and not just the snotty nose sounds, right? All right. And if you like my jacket, you can get one of your own in multiple colors. The brand is called Wolf Minded. They are from Somerville, New Jersey. That's my hometown. And look, I got it custom made with my Instagram. Make sure you go there and follow. And it got the little logo there. And I got my number 551 on the side. I don't really know why that's my number, but it's been my number all year. And my niece was born on 515. So I was only a placement off. I think that's pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. Remember to turn on your notification bell so you get updates on every time I post. I thank you. I love you. And I'll see you next season. Bye.